So this is just going to be a short little Periscope this morning. I just wanted to kind of drop in and kind of see if I could get some advice from you guys. So I'm at a really awesome place in my career right now. I'm not really sure too many people get lucky like I do. But when you do, you end up coming into this place. So I've been teaching at the same school for about 9 years now. This is the 14th year of my career. And I'm getting a lot of opportunities now to write more, to go speak more. People are starting to ask to pay me to do those things, and that creates a horrific sort of conflict of interest with the job that I have teaching for the New York City Department of Education. And I get it. I mean, I get paid by the New York City Department of Education, so there are pretty strict rules about what you're allowed to do and what you aren't allowed to do. And, you know, in all fairness and honesty, I think yesterday was the first day that I really read very closely the Chancellor's regs on conflict of interest, and was definitely I don't know, it felt very restrictive. And I know there are lots of you out there who have made successful transitions from one part of education to the next part, whether you're still in the classroom, whether you became an administrator, whether you decided to go into the private sector and start consulting or doing other things that help impact education. So here's sort of where I am. I love working with the kids. It's actually something I do really well, and I also think that it's a huge part of my appeal in all of these other things that I do. If I wasn't in the classroom doing successful things with my students, I don't know that I would have a lot of stuff to write about, because everything I learn from the kids. And now as a hybrid teacher instructor as well, I'm learning a lot. I haven't written much about it yet because I don't want to expose the people I'm working with, and I really want to keep to my experiences with that. But I think for me right now, I feel a little trapped. It's not that teaching isn't satisfying to me anymore, but there are definitely days where I wonder what it would be like to do something else. And, after doing something for 14 years, I've been in 3 schools, so I've seen different environments. I've seen different kinds of kids, and now with the hybrid role, it's pretty awesome. My principal suggested yesterday maybe taking a sabbatical and going back to school to get my doctorate, which is something I want to do eventually, but I have a small child still. He's not self-sufficient yet, even though he'll be 10 soon. And I'm a single mom, and I'm the head of the household, so I don't really know if I can afford to walk away from secondary education, because there's a lot of consistency and stability that kind of come with that I can't afford to lose right now. I have great health insurance, saving money for retirement, I have a decent salary, but I also need to work 2 to 3 jobs to make ends meet. Even though I have a decent salary, living in New York is challenging. Everything costs a lot here, and struggling isn't fun. It's not, it's definitely experience building and character building, and I'm all for that. But I'm building a lot of character with the struggles that I've been going through for the last few years, and I try really hard to stay positive. But really, I guess what I want to put out there to everybody is, so if you're one of those people who started in the classroom and now are doing something else successfully, I would love to hear your thoughts. What kind of questions should I be asking myself? What are the risks and rewards? If I write one more pro-con list, I don't even know if that's going to help me make a decision. I'm really afraid of making the wrong decision, and I'm all for taking risks, but when you're the head of household and you're the one who's responsible for making sure there's food on the table and gas in the car and making sure everything is okay, and you have a child to care for, I feel like there's so much at stake by either stepping away from this system, or maybe it's just time to go to a new school where I could still teach one class and then coach the rest of a day. Yeah, that's true. There is definitely a lot of investment going in, John, and I know that it will pay off in the long run. I think that I'm just at this really weird sort of stuck place, and I have a lot of creative things I want to do, and I want to change education, you know. Well, I hope so. I hope that I will make money after I leave. I mean, I want to keep writing. I love writing. I can only do it on the weekends. I have to be careful with the conflict of interest now that I know kind of like the lines that are allowed to be drawn. But like, I definitely, I want to impact change in education. That's my goal. Assessment seems to be my thing. Getting student voice out there is also pretty important to me. I want to be an advocate for kids. I think I toyed with the idea, you know, in retirement or when I got older, of being some kind of lobbyist of some kind. But, you know, I feel like there's so much at stake all the time, and I'm just so worried that it'll be, you know, it'll be the wrong choices, you know. John, that would be interesting, leaving my own school. I've been reluctant to get my administrator's license because, to be honest with you, I don't want to fall into a position where I'm just pushing paper all day. I want to be around kids, and I want to be around teachers, and I want to make change. So I don't know if there's any answers in all of this right now, but it's definitely something I'm struggling with, something that I'm going to probably start writing about. Just trying to get feedback from folks is super awesome. So if you have some time, you have some thoughts, tweet me at Miss Saxton. I think that's awesome, John. It must be so great to be in a space, you know, to be in a space where you can do that. I don't want to say anything bad about my principal. It's just a different relationship that I have with her. And over the last 9 years, we've certainly had our ups and downs. I respect her very much as a person, and, you know, I think that it might start to be, I'm struggling with what to do next. So certainly open to suggestion. I know we've been talking about that a bunch, but, you know, I'm definitely open. So if you have suggestions, you guys could keep sending them to me here. I'm going to write about it. And Randy, I totally agree with that. And that's right there is my biggest fear. The power of what I do is grounded in the work that I do and the risks that I take in the classroom. And I'm so afraid that if I walk away from working with kids, that my work's going to become irrelevant. And I don't, you know what I mean? Like, not that I don't have a body of work. I don't believe consultants in general are effective if they have no practical knowledge of what's happening right now. So I have no desire to be a consultant yet. I'm not there yet. I have so much I need to learn. So, I mean, I think ideally for me, I want to be in a district, I think, or in a school that lets me teach one class, maybe 2 tops. Right now I'm teaching 3. I have 100 students. It's still a lot of students, and I'm working with 6 teachers also. So, I mean, it's really hard for me to balance both of them and do them both really well. And for me, as you guys all know, I really want to do the things that I do well. And to do that, I give it a lot of time and a lot of attention, and I'm learning to balance. I have a schedule. Some days are student days, some days are teacher days, but there's so much stuff that happens in between that just takes your attention away. Anyway, thanks for listening. I think sometimes just talking it out kind of helps a little bit. Tweet me after you watch this if you have any advice. I'd love to hear it, and I think I'm going to write about it today. Thanks for your time, everybody. Have a super Thursday.